Hello guys, hope all of you are doing well. So as usual, I just come with a new topic to discuss today on success factors. And as you already seen from the thumbnail, we are going to discuss on a specific custom solution part today. A requirement in one of my live projects, and there I provided one similar kind of solution over there. So sort to share the similar solution with you as well. So as a part of knowledge sharing, so whoever are new to the success factors, they can be benefited, and who are already working, they can revise their own knowledge and skills on this topic as well. So our specific requirement today, how to manage incentive management based on disciplinary violations. What exactly the requirement is? Let's go to the requirement or scenario part today. Then you can understand what is the exact thing we are going to discuss today and how we are going to provide the solutions or going to configure it in the system. We'll show all the hands-on things as well as usual. So before moving on, I just like to request everybody who are new to my channel, please pause the video for a while, hit the red subscribe button if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, and please also help to share the videos if you like it, and hit the like thumb icon if you like it, and you can also post your comments, feedbacks as well in the comment section. Now no more introduction anymore, so let's go to the topic today. Scenario. So what exact the requirement is that we are going to discuss today. Suppose as per company's policy, employee will be warned if any of the disciplinary actions are violated by employee, and those warnings will be counted. That is first step. What kind of disciplinary actions? That is based to organization, it may vary as well, like late comings, not in proper uniforms, or your misbehavior. Different reasons can be there for disciplinary action violations, and those are always given to the employee while employee is going to join as a business guidelines. And if any of those are going to be violated, suppose company provide going to count those number of violations. And the second step is, by end of year, total number of disciplinary warnings need to be counted, and employee will be eligible to get the year-end incentives based on total number of warnings. How it is? Suppose incentive eligibility grid is already provided like in this way. If there is no warnings, no disciplinary violations or warnings you have received from HR departments to entire year, then you will going to receive the 100% incentive. Suppose you are receiving warnings between 1 to 5 counts, then your incentive is going to be deducted 50%. You will going to receive 50% of incentives. And if your total number of warnings between 6 to 8, then you are going to receive 25% of incentives. And if it is more than 9, then no incentive is going to be paid to you at the end of the year. So this kind of one of the custom requirements we have set up as in scenario today, and we are going to check how we can do the probable based way to configure these in SuccessFactors Employee Central. Now let's move on the configuration step parts. So whatever the solution I'm going to discuss today, that is entirely based on my thoughts actually, but you know these kind of custom solutions can be configured in different ways. So if you have any other thoughts, you can also provide your thoughts as a part of comments of these videos. You can also write me direct emails. My email IDs are already provided in the comment section in my previous uploaded videos as well. So we can get it from there as well. So as per my solutioning, I try to the total configuration steps I have split it in 3 parts basically: part 1, part 2, and part 3. So in part 1, I'm going to create 3 custom MDFs basically. One is the parent object of for disciplinary warnings, and another is the child object for disciplinary object recordings. So obviously, as we know, as the incentives are going to be paid based on the total number of warnings that employee have received in the entire year, right? So obviously there is a custom field is required, which is going to count it how many number of warnings that employee are receiving. So one field should be there as a total count of disciplinary warnings, right? So that's why the parent object field has been introduced here, which is going to count how many what are the total number of disciplinary warnings at the end of the year received by an employee. Okay, another is the number of disciplinary warnings, because when HR is going to enter the warnings, that also need to be recorded, because might be end of the year, the admin or high level authority want to see a report how many disciplinary warnings that employee have received throughout the year. So to produce that report, we also need to store the individual disciplinary warnings records as well. So that's why the child object I am going to configure over here, and we are going to associate this child object with this parent object. And another lookup table we need to configure, because as we just seen in the requirement part, in the scenario part, basically the incentives are going to be calculated based on total number of disciplinary warnings, and there is an eligibility grid is also given. So to set that eligibility grid in the system, we need to create one custom lookup table as a custom MDF, and I can put it there in the system. Now next step is we need to create one custom UI, obviously, because those disciplinary warnings need to be populated in employee profile, employee's view as well. So we need to attach it in employee profile. For that reason, we need to create one custom UI, and also that UI can be used by the HR admins to enter the new disciplinary warnings for any employees, right? Now the third step is people profile configuration. Obviously, that is for the to enable that these custom MDFs in employees view. If you are not aware how to do that, you can also check my previous video. I have already explained in detail how to do that. Basically, you can check my previous uploaded videos. You can find all my previous uploaded videos in the top right corner. At the eye icon, there is a playlist I have created for that. The playlist name is SuccessFactors. So if you go to the playlist, you can find all my uploaded videos over there. And also we need to set up over here the RBPs, because as we know, if when we're going to create any custom blocks in people profile and new blocks, so that need to be enabled to be viewed in employees view. So the RBP settings is also required. So this is the overall part within the part 1 section. Now the most important and interesting thing is coming as a part 2. Suppose one employee's total number of disciplinary warnings we have counted and also paid the incentives for current year, but the next year when employee is moving to the next year, then the total number of disciplinary warnings, that field also need to be reset. It cannot hold the previous year's disciplinary warnings count, right? Because every year this count need to be reset back to 0, and it always start to count the new disciplinary actions for that current year. That is the scenario. So how to reset this total warnings count field, basically? Because we can write down one rule in custom MDF parts to reset that, okay? But the thing is, how this rule is going to be triggered, because only when somebody is going to enter, then only the possibilities the rule can be triggered, right? But except apart from that, there is no trigger automatically when the new year started, means first Jan. Suppose first Jan is going to be started for any year, so that total count field need to be reset back to 0. These we cannot do using any business rules, because there is no such trigger in that point of view, right? So to do that, we introduced here in our solution the integration centers. So we need to set up one integration center for this purpose to reset the total count of warning at the end of the year. So we can schedule this integration center yearly basis, and it is going to be triggered at the end of the year, suppose 31st December, and it is going to reset that count for this particular for all employees. Okay, so that is how we can achieve that. We'll show that in the system how we can do that basically. So this is one of the interesting thing that I'm going to show you basically. And as a part of part 3, now suppose our total count we have reset that, and also we are going to reset at the end of the year basis as well using integration center. Now we need to create also the off-site employees incentives, right, as per the eligibility grid. So how to do that? To do that automatically as well, we need to create one off-cycle event batch, and that batch is going to be triggered based on some certain frequency. One business tool need to be created for that, and it is going to create our incentive amount percentage for each and every employee automatically. So this is the three parts of these total configurations. So might be you get confused with the theoretical parts. Let's go to system and try to check how we can do that in the hands-on. So I just logged into the instance right now. So as per our planning of configuration steps, let's follow one by one. Try to create the custom MDFs first. Okay. To create the custom MDFs, we need to go to configure object definition. So in configure object definition tool, uh, from here we can create the new objects as we know. So first parent object I'm going to create here. Let me name it as disciplinary warnings. Let me put the effective dating as okay, this is none, because the purpose of this parent object should be to hold the count, total count, and it will provide the interface to the HR admins as well when they are going to record a new disciplinary warning for any employee. Okay, so API visibility, I need to set it at as editable so that I can access it from the integration center point of view using the OData. Okay, MDF version history, I am setting it as complete history. Okay, let me put the same description as well. Now external port, as we need to tag this particular MDF to the employees view as well, so that's why we need to create the external first field, that means the external code field as user ID. So I'm just put the name as user ID here, and most importantly setting the data type as user, and obviously we need to tag it here subject user field user ID, so that we can tag this particular MDF to employees view as well. External name not required, I'm deleting that. Now let me create the fields here. So first field, it should be record, it should be yes, record number of warning. It should be of type number. Put the label as record number of warning. Let me put another is the date of recording date. It should be a date type field. Recording date, that is the label. I'm going to set it here. And third field, I'm going to put it as type of violation. This is just for the reporting sake. So in later, if somebody wants to see for which reason this violation or warning has been recorded, so they can understand. So obviously, we need to set up these violations as pick list over here. Let me try to configure a couple of pick list for this purpose. Okay, let me try to save it first as a string, then I'll put the pick list over here. Type of violations, let's set it up. Okay, so up to now this is done. Right now I'm not making this object as secure, uh, so that no RBP need to be configured for this purpose right now, for this demo purpose. But in actual scenarios, you need to set it up as secured and need to provide the RBPs. Okay, so now let me quickly create one pick list. Okay, one sec. Okay, this is fine. Okay, let me change the date, else it will not be populated for post edit entries. Okay, let me create some entry over here. So first one is let coming. uh, misbehavior. Okay, I'm just trying to create three values for the show actually. uh, hmm, so another is improper uniform. Okay, okay, so these three values I just created right now, and let me quickly tag this pick list with this field. Okay, here is the pick list. Valid value shows. Now I'm saving it. So first, parent MDF is created over here. Now let's move ahead and create the child MDF. Record warnings. Effective dating, I need to set it as from parent because this should be the child object. API visibility, again I need to set it editable. MDF version, complete history. No need to put in label for this at this point of time. Okay, now here, okay, here the external codes. I need to set up the external code as it is. Leave it. I'm leaving it as it is. Just let me change. Okay, leave the label as well. And second thing should be number of warning. It should be as number and label as number of warning, recorded warning. Okay, and whatever the other fields I have created in the parent object, I need to just carry it down here. So I need to also create those fields over here. Recorded date, date field, date field. Okay, and type of warning. Here as well I need to set this pick list. Let me set the label, type of warning, and type of violation. The same pick list value I'm going to set it here. So these are the fields, and that's it. Saving it. Okay, now these recorded warnings are created. Let me create the association with the parent object for this. Let me open a new window. So first object that we have created, that is disciplinary warning. Let's correct it and put the association over here. Cost record warnings. It should be one to many, because many number of warnings we need to record over here, and it should be a composite because it is a parent and child, means from parent relationship over here. If you want to know more about these association types and etc related all the details of the association, you can check my in detail video which is uploaded in previous dates. The video name is association. You can check it. It can be informative for you. Okay, now these two MDFs are getting created. Now what I need to do next, that is I want to set up one rule so that the external codes of the childs need to be created automatically. That we can do pretty easy way as well. Before doing that, let me just quickly show you how it looks like, this object here in manage data. Basically, to manage data, disciplinary warning. So this is the field we have created over here. So external code is nothing but the user ID. Let me just put some username over here. Okay, mark. This is the name I have created. Record of warning. means HR admin can record the warning message over here, and when they put the warning message and submit as a date, then here the total number of warning field uh, that we have not added yet, that need to be populated. So let's add that field first. This is the parent object, and total number of warning, that field you have added over here. It also need to be number type only, and label should be total number of warning for current year. That is the label. I'm just putting it over here, saving it. So what exactly we need to do, let me again refresh this one. So when some HR admin is going to enter the new warning for any employee here, suppose we are going to put the number of warning, recording date, type of violations, they can put it over here. Then automatically those entries need to be carried forward over here as a child entry, and total number of warning need to be need to be added based on those entries. That part we need to configure first. Okay, to do that we need to place one business rule, obviously. So let me just go to this parent objects save rule. Let me just choose the base object only. Okay, add, okay, count total warnings. That is the rule name I'm going to put up here. And disciplinary warning, that should be our base object for this particular business rule. And in the set part, in the then part, we need to just create one entry for record warnings. The external code which also need to be generated automatically. For that we can use this generate external code for time off. As we know, this function we are going to use when going to create any uh, time account time account entry, basically for accrual purposes, right? So we just generate, the purpose of this function is to generate one string automatically, on unique string automatically. So we can also use this function over here. And for rest of the part, the rest of the fields, like number of recorded warnings, number, it should be yeah, it should be the record number of warnings that the HR admin is going to put in the parent object, basically. Then recorded date, it also should comes from the parent object recording date, basically. And type of warning, it also should come from the parent object only. Okay, so this part is done. Now what else we need to do here? We need to set the total number of warnings here as well. The total number of warnings, this is the field. So we need to use the add function here. Add function over here. Okay, so Yeah. So okay, so add function we can use, and the first function should be treat null as, because total warning can be null as well if it is a first entry. So we should use treat null as 0. So yes, now I can see decimal over here, and let me again with the fonts. Okay, first number should be total number of warnings plus whatever the new recorded warnings that each admin is going to enter right now, that also need to be added as a second parameter in this add function. So second parameter should be record number of warnings, which each admin is going to add right now. So it will add up and populate the total count in the total warning field. Right. So these two part is done. Now the next thing what we need to do after these saving, during the saving part, the total warning and other fields need to be null, need to be reset back to null. So a number of warnings, it should be null. It may be confusing for you now, but when I'll show you how it is working, it will be clarified to you. Second part is date, also need to set it as null. So whatever the three fields we have created from the parent object, we also need to reset it back to null. Type of violation, also I'm setting it as null. So this part is done. So then part is done. Now when this rule is going to be triggered, when somebody is going to create a new warning. So record number of warnings, it need to be greater than 0, then only these rules need to be triggered, right? So let me just save it. Now we need to just place that rule in the MDF itself on save. So this is the MDF. Let's go to make correction, and in the on save I'm just placing that rule, count total warnings, and saving it here. Okay, now let's check what exactly our rules are being configured, and how it is working basically. So to test that, in the manage data part, let's try to create one record, disciplinary warning. So external code, this is nothing but the user ID as we just configured. So I'm putting one employee's name over here, like Mark Book. And being an admin, I'm trying to add some record over here. So number of records 1, recording date, say it is 4th of March, type of valuation, it is a late coming, and that's it. I'm just trying to, so when I'm saving that, you can see automatically these records entries which I'm going to put in the parent objects, those are carry forwarded and created a new entry in the child object itself. And the total number of warnings, that field, that is added up with the new entry I just created over here. Now this part is done. Our business rules are working fine. Now as a part of configuration, next step is we need to create that custom UI and need to place it in people profile configuration, and need to set the RPP part. To save the time, I just created all of those configurations right now. So let me just quickly show you that custom UI, how it looks like basically. UI manage configure configuration UI. Using the tool, you can reach to the custom UI tool, and there you can disciplinary warning. So this is the field I just created over here. This is the UI I just created over here. So if you just notice, the only the parent objects I am just populating. The child object part, that section I have deleted, because I don't want in the employee front end view those child objects need to be there, because that the purpose of this UI just to show the total number of years count, and HR can also utilize that particular UI to enter the new warnings for that particular employee. For this reason, these fields are there. Okay, and total number of warning fields I have make it as non-editable. It should be a read-only field only, so nobody can change the data from the front end. Okay, and how to tag this field in the people profile. So I just go to people profile over here, and created a new block. You can see disciplinary warnings. This block has been created. I attached that custom MDF, that MDF UI that we have created over here. And if you just click on that disciplinary warnings UI, that UI is attached here. And also part of RPP configuration, I provide the 11 permissions so that it can be visible to the employee's view. So let me also show you that permission rule. Manage permission role, system admin, that is the admin permission I have. So in this particular rule I just added that permission to view the particular block in the people profile. So the permission is employee view, and you can see disciplinary warnings, that these disciplinary warnings permission is enabled in this permission role. Now let's check from the user point of view, or from the admin point of view. Let's go to that particular employee workbook, and if we just go to that particular employee's profile, we can see disciplinary warning, that particular portlet is available over here. And suppose I'm being an HR admin, try to add a new disciplinary warnings for this particular employee. So I'm going there, try to add record number of warnings as 1, recording date suppose 6, and type of violation suppose improper uniform. Okay, and trying to save it. So when I'm saving it, you can see automatically this total number of warnings is coming as 2. So if you and the other fields are reset back. Okay, so if you want to add any workflows here, we can also add it for, but for this demo purpose I'm not attaching any workflow right now. So this is the front end part of this tool, of this particular MDF. But what happened to the backend table? Let me go to again manage data and try to refresh this page after saving this new entry. And when I refresh, you can see total number of warnings is also showing 2, which is also showing over in the front end UI as well. But the other child objects data is not showing here in the UI because it is not relevant to show to the user or HR admins right now. But it is recorded, you can see in the backend. So if you want to show that at the end of the year to the HR admins or some other higher authority, we can pull a report form based on these entries and can show them as well. Okay, so this part of configuration is done. Now let's go to the most other interesting configuration on this particular solutioning, that is we need to reset this particular total number of warnings count at the end of the year. So how to do that? We need to for that purpose we need to go to integration center, integration sorry integration center. So in integration center I'm going to create my integration over here. Go to create option, more integration types. As the both source and destination both the success factor, I need to choose those as success factors over here. The format should be OData v2, and I'm going to schedule that. That's why choosing the trigger type as schedule. Let's create it. Okay. Now let me choose my own MDF that we have created, that is disciplinary warning, that particular MDF. I'm just choosing that particular MDF over here. What are the fields or data? You can also see that over here as well. Now selecting this particular MDF, put a description, relevant description for this as well. Go to next. Okay, now let me just drag this field. Okay, so what are the object data fields are available over here? That is external code. So external code should be mapped with the particular that object's external code. So I'm just putting this. I'm just going to associate that with the external code. That means user ID of our parent object, disciplinary actions, disciplinary warnings, particular MDF. Yeah, I'm just setting it over here. Now record number of warnings. Let me just set the default value as 0, because nothing need to be reset for this particular, nothing need to be created for this. Recording date I'm not going to set, because those will be remain as it is, as null and null. And total number of warnings, these fields we need to reset basically 0. So default value should be 0 over here, and also recording this one also need to be 0, not the level 0. I'm just focusing the level here, and both fields value I'm just setting at 0 over here, and now going for next. And the time based filters, I'm just applying it here as modified since, and so that it will only pick up the records which is modified after the last run of this integration run. So it will just reduce the time of running the integrations in this case. So and last run plus 1 minute. So after that, whatever the changes happen, it will just pick it up. Okay. So I'm just, and here as per our scenario, we need to run these at the end of the year. So it should be yearly run. And if it is yearly run, you need to set up the date. I'm just setting the date over here as December 31st. And I'm setting the time as suppose 11. Let's go to 11:50, that kind of, or 11:30. Okay, it should be fine. 11:30, I've just scheduled that. So every year 31st December it is going to be automatically scheduled or triggered. This integration basically. Now let me save it. I'm just saving it over here. So it is saved now. For testing purpose, let me just run it right now, so that we can see as per our data we have created this field 2. So if I run this, it should be nullified. It means it should be reset back to 0. That is our requirement. So let me just test it, run it now. So job has been scheduled. Let's wait and see the results. So still the job is running over here. Just now it is being completed. Let's see the output, how it looks like basically. So as per the log, it is saying that one record is being updated. Let's check how it happens. So let me just refresh these manage data backend table basically, and you can see yes. So this section, the child section remains as it is not changed, but the total number of counts, it is reset back to 0. That is what we are looking for. So it is working as well. So our part 2 configuration is also done. Now move ahead for the part 3. For part 3 section, in configuration part, what we need to do, uh, we need to go to manage data and need to create one off-cycle event batch. So off-cycle event batch, let me put the name as create incentive. That is the code. I just put it over here. Let me choose the base object as employment details, and associate rule. Let me just pick it up. Okay, so create incentive. That is the rule name. I'm just putting it here, and the base object I'm selecting it employment details. Yes. So here we need to create the rule for this purpose. But before we move ahead to create this rule, one part we missed out. That is, we have not created that uh, lookup table for eligibility grid for incentive management. Okay, so let me just create it quickly over here. Let me go to configure object definition, lookup incentive grid. That is the object name. I'm putting it over here. Okay, let's make it as basic. Effective dating, IPA visibility, make it at editable. If it is required to be fetched this data in the IC or API APIs, default is fine. Okay, so external code, let it be. Okay, so here a couple of fields I need to create. That is min var min number warnings, number is always going to be data type always goes to be number, min number of warnings, another is max number warnings, number is the data type, level I'm choosing as max, and incentive percentage, incentive percentage, that also I'm choosing. Okay, that can be decimal as well. Sorry, it should be decimal. Incentive percentage. Okay, so this object definition creation is done. Saving it. Okay, I'm not going to make it secure right now for the demo purpose. So this is done. Now let's maintain the data over here. Incentive grid, this is the object for us. So I'm putting the external code as 193.01, putting the date as 0011900 for now. Number of warning, it is 0, 0, then it should be 100%, another record, incentive rate 02. If it is 1 to 5, then 50%. Then incentive or record should be 01011900. It is 6 to 8, then 25%. Incentive rate, it is 0. The last record 01011900 is the start date. If it is 9 to, suppose extreme number I'm just putting, and it is going to be 0%. So our data is ready. Let's go back to our business tool again, create incentives. So what we need to look at here, we just need to look up function need to be used to look into disciplinary warning particular MDF. There we are looking into total number of warnings that filled, and if it is equals to, okay, if it is less than 1, and let me just put the other criterias over here. The external code, it is nothing but the user, job information, user ID field, we need to map with this. User ID, because the external code is nothing but the user ID over here. Coding it, so that's it. That is sufficient to bring that particular value over here. Then we can use the set operation over here to create the off cycle one-time payment pay component for this particular employees. And let me set the one-time payment. Okay, type special bonus, suppose it is named as special bonus. It is the pay component ID, nothing but the pay component ID, that is. Second is the date we need to create the on-time payment. The issue date should be it should be as today's date when this particular upcycle job is going to be run and going to create this record. Third is currency code, say it is USD. And the fourth is the amount. That means the value. So for value we need to check if, because it is 1, so what is the percentage for maintained for less than 1? It is 100%. So we can just check. So we need to apply this percentage based on the basic pay component of this particular employee. And the basic salary is 6,655. So let me just go back. And let me assign this amount of basic salary, where the pay component is basic AU So whatever the basic salary, it is going to be paid fully for this particular employee, so 100%. Else if, let's copy this, paste it here. If it is greater than equals to 1 and less than equals to 5, in that case I need to just copy all of this. Only the amount part I need to just configure here. And the amount part, so amount part should be 50% of this. So we can apply the calculations over here. uh, so calculation should be, yeah, calculation, what the calculation should be, it is the basic salary multiplied 50 divided by 100. This one we need to put it over here. So first we need to apply the multiply function, and we are going to multiply this compensation amount of basic salary basic AU that is the pay component of basic pay salaries, and here divide 100, and dividend should be 50, but we can also use the lookup functions here based on our lookup eligibility grid that we have created, and we can fetch the value from there as well. But to saving the time, I'm just hard coding those values over here, and only two conditions I am creating in the business rule. One is for full incentive, another is half incentive. Those two ranges. Other you can also extend the business rule and create the rest of the criteria as well. So I'm just saving this business rule right now, and let's copy this business rule and come to this off cycle event batch, associate the rule over here. User group, we can create one user group if required. Right now I'm not creating. Include all matches, yes, no. And here these rule need to be triggered only last of the month, though, as means 31st December only, because at the year end this incentive is going to be paid. But here is no such annual frequency is available, so I'm setting as a monthly. And to make ensure that these rule only be effectively triggered at the end of the month, I am just going to set one condition over here in this business rule part. Just adding this condition here. day of month, it is 31st, and day will be today, that means the run day. And also uh, month of year, it should be 12, and day base date should be today. So December 31st, if that matches, then only this rule should trigger and create this pay component, else it should not create that. And also I'm going to copy over here the same logic in the other parts of the rule. 31st, paste, saving this. Okay, now it is ready. Now let's it's time for testing this whole set. And to make it easier for testing, I'm going to create one particular group where I'm just going to keep only our test user over there. So cycle in batch groups. So test, so user mark, only one user I'm going to just put it over here. Okay, so I'm just going to assign this particular user group over here, test, so that it will only pick up one employee. Else if it is pick up all employees, it will take much time to complete the run, and we try to avoid this. Okay, so our off-cycle event batch rule is also configured, and this rule only can be triggered if the from the provisioning backend the job is scheduled, then only it will pick up this rule. Right now I'm going to trigger this rule manually from this provisioning, so that we can check our test results. So if the off-cycle event batch runs successfully, it will create this kind of pay components over here automatically. So this is the last part of configuration actually, if it is executed successfully from our side. And so this is the overall solution basically. So first part, as we configured the MDFs and created these custom disciplinary warnings and these parent child objects, then we can reset it back. We created the integration center to reset back the total number of warnings, and also to create the incentives as well. Based on the total number of warnings at the end of the year, we need to create the off-cycle event batch. But obviously the off-cycle event batch rules run time. Both off-cycle event batch and integration center both are running on 31st December, but off-cycle event batch runtime should be at least half an hour before of the integration center's runtime. Then only we can create the incentives, because if the integration center runs prior to the off-cycle event batch, it will reset this number to 0. Then every employee will be eligible to get 100% incentive as per the eligibility rate, right? So we have to be conscious about scheduling these two jobs, off-cycle event batch and integration center basically. So this is the overall solution. Hope you like this solution. You can try it from your end to your side as well, and let me know if you have any other concerns, or if you have any other thoughts how we can configure this kind of custom solution for the custom requirements as well. Thank you. Keep watching. Happy learning. Thank you. Thank you guys. Bye.